Let me get my earphones on so I can hear y'all talking.
Cookie still can't get it, huh?
No, I tried to talk him through it.
Mark's in his limousine. We done lost him. All right, here we go.
After you sent me the link, hell, it's just a couple buttons. I don't know why he can't get it.
Me neither. It is a couple buttons. I can't make it any easier, guys.
No.
Look at that handsome son of a bitch.
Ain't beautiful.
Are you in your limousine headed toward New Madrid?
I am.
Look at that. See that up there in the corner?
Got my house on wheels.
Ain't I special? Look at that in the corner.
I see that. That's
and look at
neat.
this. Look at this. God dang, look at that. Look at that BT. Some bitch got all the advertisement there. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
How about you, Forrest?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna count y'all down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll go live on Facebook for about 20 minutes. When I say we're going to commercial break, we'll keep recording, but it won't be on Facebook. So we're only on Facebook for about 20 minutes. I'm trying to get people to join my Patreon. So I don't know if that made any sense to y'all, but all right, here we go.
What I'm gonna know is why fucking Glenn get this big old fucking camera. Me and Mark got this little old bitty bullshit.
That's cause Glenn's extra wide.
There we go. All right, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Shootin the Shiznit, Shootin the Shiznit, best little wrestling podcast in the business. Your host BT, and all his guests. You'll never know who he'll have next. Shootin the Shiznit, Shootin the Shiznit, best little wrestling podcast in the business. Shootin the Shiznit.
All right, guys, we're live from Jonesboro, Arkansas with the Missouri Bad Boys. That's right, Cash McCoy, Mark Southern, and the one and only Missouri Renegade. How's it going, guys?
Going good, Coach.
Going good.
You know, I said this before the camera started, but as ugly as I am, it makes y'all all look better.
Well, as pretty as I am, ain't no way y'all got any. I ain't got any competition anyway.
Mark, I want to start with you real quick. And the ticker tape's going across so everybody can see it, but we want the audio version. It'll go out before the show starts tonight. Talk about the show, and then we'll get on with the program.
Yeah, we got AHCW tonight in New Madrid. It's a New Madrid Eagles, and it is New Year's Knockout 2021 big card. We got 5 big matches. Jack Parker Jr. and Derrick King in the main event. We got Mark Southern and Naughty by Nature Rude versus the LA Hustlers. We got Luke Justice, Trending Trent Daniels, along with other AHCW superstars. All that for only $10. So y'all come on out. Doors open at 6:30. Bail time is at 7:30.
There you go. And I like to say, be there, guys. Be there. Hey, I want to start out. All 3 of y'all have been on the show, and I talk with my hands, so the video, you'll see me. All 3 of you have been on the show, but you kind of talked about each other, but I want to start picking on Mark first, okay? So Cash and Renegade, I'll start with Cash. Tell me a Mark Southern story.
Oh, man, where do I start? I'm in the wrestling business, out of the wrestling. Most of our stories are growing up and running around and you know, out of the business. I mean, we did travel the roads together. So I mean, what do you want, a wrestling story? Or
yeah. Did y'all? You said y'all growing up. Did y'all run around trying to be Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee back then?
No, we ran around drinking a lot of beer, went mudding, and chased the women.
You didn't worry about wrestling then. All right. Tell me
Hey, tell him about your first day training, Glenn.
Well, we went through that on the last podcast. But yeah, Mark manhandled me and broke my collarbone. So when I get up and I hold my collarbone, he said, "Well, you didn't fall like I showed you how to fall."
And then he wanted to be a manager, BT. He said, "No bumping for me."
No bumping. Oh, hell. Well, I had that 3-stage bump when I was a manager. You know, I grabbed the top rope, then I grabbed the middle rope, then I fall and grab the bottom. I mean, I was horrible. Forrest, I don't know if you even remember. Let's tell a Mark Southern story. Then you could tell how BT training. Do you remember the day we trained together? But first, tell a Mark Southern story. I know you got a bunch of them.
I'll tell you the first thing Mark Southern trained. I'll tell you about that. But this little 160-pound kid kept bugging the crap out of me. We worked together at a place called Brown Shoe in Crosville, and he kept bugging the piss out of me every day. And I'd tell him, I don't train. Well, finally he showed up at my house. I lived in Crosville. He showed up at my house, and you got to train me. And I was like, look, I don't freaking train, man. Get away from me. I said, look, if you want to train, come here. So I moved all the furniture out of the living room, moved all the furniture back against the wall, and I picked him up and slammed him about 15 times, hard as I could slam him on the living room floor. And I told him, I said, now get the hell out of my house. If you want to train, come back tomorrow. And you know what? Stupid little bastard come back the next day.
Oh,
on that.
Hell, BT, he was using me as a vacuum cleaner, his dirty ass carpet, see?
oh man. It was me. I know Forrest is probably not even going to remember this, and hell if I don't know why I do, but we was in I can't tell if it's Crosville or Hayti. We're in this, I think it was actually metal building or something. I had Big Jack Diamond and Forrest, and those boys could bump, and my fat ass couldn't do nothing. And they was wanting me to flip over the top rope, and they was going to pull me and do me like this way and that way. And I said, "Oh no, I think I'm done. I don't want to wrestle anymore." So my mama made them trunks, and I was out of the wrestling business for a while. So I didn't want none of Forrest or Jackie because they were, they just seemed like they wanted to whoop my ass. So I wanted to get out of there real quick. So,
well, Mark knows a little something about that too, because we used him and his original partner, Classic Chris, as the same deal.
That's right. And you might be talking about the old Joy Theater in Hayti, BT. That's where we trained at.
Yeah, it was. That might have been it. And it was cold, real cold in the wintertime. And then there was some bar that Jack would always take me to after we trained or after we hung out, and he would take the title belt in there. Do y'all remember that?
Yeah.
That was the metal building. It was the bar. You was getting confused.
That's possible. It's possible. He would take us. I tell you what Jack did one time. He told me he wanted me to tag with him because Forrest wasn't tagging right now, and that he won tag team titles in Memphis. And then when I found out he had the tag team titles made. He didn't win shit. He didn't win shit, and he just carried the belts around. So him and DW. All right, we picked on Mark a little bit. Mark, let's pick on the Renegade. Tell us the Renegade story.
Oh man, I got a lot of them, but I'm going to tell you, we're going to go wrestling here, okay? We did an angle over in Middleton, Tennessee with the chief police. We wrestled old hometown kid over there. Of course, we put the hometown kid over, and he's looking like a hero, but we had worked our ass off on this angle where we actually carried the lids back in, and Forrest knocked the shit out of that chief police with that lid, and this place come unglued. We're in an old high school gymnasium, but at the end of the night, we put the kid over, made him look like a superstar, and we're doing TV for Dyersburg back then, that local channel 33 we had. We go back the next week, and some kid that had been in the dressing room with us who was training goes back and tells all the people the angle about how wrestling was fake. We had it all planned.
Right.
So we're back in the dressing room, and Forrest just hauls off and slaps the shit out of this boy and starts beating on him. But, because we're old school, man. You know what I'm saying? Keep your fucking mouth shut.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
And
Do you think that's part of it, though, Forrest? Do you think it's part of it that the idea, we had talked about this before, the idea was that the reason you guys got so over, not only did they believe you, the crowd believe you, but you think the boys believed, too, that you could whoop their ass? Was that part of it?
I believe they did because I made a believer out of a few of them. So, not only him, I made a believer out of a few more of them because, like Mark said, man, we're old school. Just keep your mouth shut. I mean, everybody knows what everybody knows kayfabe. Vince McMahon smarting the world up, blah, blah, blah. Everybody
but that wasn't that then. Yeah, that wasn't happening back then. That was, the thing is you had to keep it quiet. Did y'all travel in the same car and then leave in the same car and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. We did. Yeah, we traveled together. There wasn't no being in separate rides. We'd be in trouble.
Yeah. I remember stopping in Gibson and switching cars so that I was in the car with the heels when we arrived at the building. I mean, that's stuff that people don't do as much now, but that's what we did.
Hey, speaking of Gibson, let me tell this Gibson story real quick.
Oh, God.
So my first trip over to Gibson, Tennessee is actually I'm managing the Renegade and Joy Venture. My first show over there, and crowd about 200 plus on a Sunday afternoon in Gibson, Tennessee. Killer show, and this guy comes to the ring and threatens to cut our throats. He had a knife and everything.
Good God.
I think he actually got a hold of the Renegade. But anyway, so we got out of control, and man, they waited on us. So after the show, about 20, 30 minutes, finally we had to get a police escort out of there. Our very first show, man. I was like, damn, this is crazy.
Hold on, Mark. The story, the deal is, the place was quiet. So, we was waiting about 30 minutes. We was getting dressed back to back talking. I get up and go to the door because we dressed on a stage. We dressed in the old high school.
Right.
And we dressed on the stage back there. Well, I get up and open the door and nobody left. They're all standing at the door. We can't get out. If you go down the steps and you can make an immediate left to get out the side door. And our car was right there, but we couldn't get there. We couldn't get down the steps. So I shut the door back. I said, guys, we're in fucking trouble. I said, they're all still here. I said, we can't leave, man. So, yeah, they had to call the damn sheriff's department to get us out of the building and escort us out of town. That was a good day for wrestling business and a bad day for us.
Well, the deal was that Gibson, Tennessee, even though Vince had, did what he did in the 80s, Gibson, Tennessee was stuck in the fucking 70s, and they believed everything. They hated me. I remember I did the angle with Dakota where I hit her with a clipboard. And guys, it was silent heat. You ever had silent heat where you hit somebody and she starts bleeding? That's when I got scared. I was like, oh, fuck, they're fixing to hit the ring. But they believed, and that was the fun part about it. All right, guys, let's talk about Cash McCoy. When did he join? Because you guys did Dysbury, y'all did a little bit of everything together, and then y'all brought Cash along. Cash, do you remember what brought you to the Missouri Bad Boys?
Well, like I said, we've been friends forever, and it just happened to be a time in their life that we're all living in the same town, working together in the Nashville area, and they were wanting to do some, or especially Mark was wanting to do some stuff over here, but they were still doing stuff in West Tennessee. So basically, I started training with Mark. He was going to do some singles here, and so I ended up doing some stuff with them in West Tennessee, but that's kind of how it came about. Like I said, I joined later. What was it, guys? 2005, maybe 2004, something like that. It was in the early 2000s, but it was late, and that's how it started. Was I'd always been around them and wrestlers in this area and friends with them. Just never been a part of the business, and that's kind of how it came about. So ended up doing stuff in West Tennessee with the Missouri Bad Boys, and then also some stuff over here with a couple other promotions, but also a lot of stuff with Mark over here singles, and even with Forrest, did some shows over here. One of the first shows that we did over here actually, and Mark, Forrest, I know y'all remember this, we were actually going to Saw to meet with Reno Riggins. He was running Saw and doing TV. That's back, you know, they were bringing OVW guys in, Kid Cash, the Naturals, a lot of wrestling around here in the early 2000s. And we're walking in, and Jerry Jarrett happens to be standing at the front door. And we're walking in, and y'all remember, and we didn't say anything. We're walking by, and Jerry grabs Forrest and stops and, hey, you look familiar. Did you used to work for me? And Forrest said, you know, it's been a long time. It was back in West Tennessee years ago. But he remembered Forrest. And he goes, well, are you guys working? And Forrest said, well, we're here to meet Reno tonight, you know, to talk about doing some TV. And Jerry said, well, come on. And he walked us in, right then, straight up to Reno. And Paul, I can't remember his last name. He passed away.
Paul Adams.
Paul Adams.
Yeah.
Was booking then. And a couple of weeks later, we're on TV working the Naturals for Reno Riggins. So that was one of the first matches. I think, Forrest, you did one prior to that with Bert.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Forrest, so one with Bert, and the first one with all of us together was for Saw. We worked the Naturals, and then it started from there. You know, West Tennessee, and then some stuff with Mark and I after that. And Forrest didn't do a lot in Nashville, a couple of shows. For whatever reason, I think he was kind of burnt out at the time.
Well, no, I mean, I was working 7 days a week, so my shoot work schedule wasn't matching up with y'all's, you know, booking. So I mean, I just couldn't do it.
He was going through another one of his 10 divorces too. So
only 10.
Yeah.
Only 10.
Man, it was 9. Man, tell the truth.
oh, that's me with 10 of them, ain't it?
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, guys. And you know, Patreon to get the full episode right after episode. If you're watching us live on Facebook, we're going to go dark, and you can listen to the episode tonight before midnight. Full episode on all the feeds. We're talking iTunes, any podcast catcher. So we are fixing to remove ourselves from Facebook. All of the places on Facebook. All right. 1, 2. Yeah, that's right. We're on 3 places on Facebook. Looking at because I got a good question for you guys.